So cooking with alkali. Today, alkali will be making crumpets.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome from Basement Con. This is Cooking with Alkali, and I'm here with my two good friends, QM and Sue the Deer. Guys, say hello to them. They're so wonderful. They have been baking with me all weekend. Yeah, I know it's not my top bet. I can hear your thoughts. You should sue. What we're going to do here today is build a favorite of mine, because we are a crumpet family now in my house. Ever since we went to San Francisco, thank you so much for Vanna. That was an amazing experience. We had crumpets up there. Would you two join me in baking crumpets?
Making trumpets?
Crumpets!
Oh.
However, I am a little horny. Give me. Alright, so
Oh man.
these are broken and sexy. Thank you so much.
They're crumped.
They're crumped. Hello, little one. Okay, we're gonna do
We got an
helping
extra.
hands crumpet making. Put your hands behind your back. There we go. Helping hands crumpet making. No, behind your back.
Behind your back.
There you go.
There you go.
Helping hands crumpet making. All right. The first thing that you need for crumpet baking is a large bowl with 3.5 cups of flour that was sifted by. She got away. Sifted by everyone here but me, because I didn't have to do any work. First thing you add to that, obviously you want to put it off to the side so it doesn't interact with any of the other ingredients. Right here, we have 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. Crumpets are a yeast-based cake. What we're looking for here is a cross between a pancake and an English muffin. So what we're going to try to do is not screw up everything. Remember, always put the yeast on one side. You don't want it interacting with any of the other ingredients. To that, 2 teaspoons of sugar. Now, if you would do me a favor, dear, and give that a little bit of a stir, well, me and QM, now we can mix it up.
All right, it's not gonna explode on me, is it?
Not yet.
Oh.
Now, before we started, we boiled off some milk. When you cook the milk, do not boil it. If you have a way to measure temperature, this should be at about 160 degrees when you pull it off of the oven. That is perfect.
Yeah.
We're gonna skim the milk. So I need you to hold this. When you heat milk, it has the tendency to make a little film on top. Now, what I did was I already skimmed the top of this to get rid of that film, but we're gonna get rid of a little bit more by pouring it through a strainer. So adding 1.5 cups of warm milk. By warm, I mean about 160. And if you'll notice, it's not much, but you get rid of some of that skim off the top if you send it through a strainer. Now this one is going to be your problem now. For the most part, we're actually done making the batter for the crumpets. Now this is going to look like just a major mush. So beforehand, we heated up to a rolling boil a pot of water. Now this can be any amount of water because you're actually going to do this one by sight. So Xander, bring in the camera. Sue, come on in here. All right, we need a spatula. I lost my spatula. Here it is. I found my spatula.
Yes, they are often served with tea.
They are very much served with tea. So we're going to scrape down the sides of the bowl to try to get this into the middle. QM, you're going to keep stirring. Sue, very slightly. Now this water, once again, I put it to about 160 degrees right now because I've let it sit out for a while. We pour the warm water into the mix a little bit at a time. And as you do it, go ahead.
There you
A
go.
little more. Okay, that's good for now. Now we're going to start stirring this until we can turn it into almost a soupy consistency. Kind of like a cream-based soup is what we're looking for. A little bit more. All right, now we're going. Now we're cooking with gas, or in this case, natural gas. All right, so now we're starting to combine everything into this wonderful, wonderful batter. All right, Sue, hit that again. There we go.
Prepare for your pain and suffering as you wait for 2 hours.
I mean, it is cooking with alkali.
Cooking with alkali is pain and suffering. And cheese, usually cheese. Thank you so much, QM, and thank you so much, Sue. I want to thank everyone who's helping me right now. All the people helping me right now are part of the cooking crew here at Basement Con. A huge shout out to all the people putting this on, including Boozy, Buddy Goodboy, the guest of honor, Iggy, and other people who have all made this happen. All right, so this is still thick, so we're going to add a little bit more water.
Nice.
So now you're going to start watching the water. You're You're gonna start watching how much water you add because you want to stop once it looks like a cream-based soup.
Yep.
Now it's starting to go.
It looks like cottage cheese.
Yeah. That cottage cheese isn't good enough yet.
Yeah, it needs to be soupier, right?
Yes, we want this soupy. A crumpet, once again, a crumpet is a mix between a pancake and an English muffin. The reason that this is going to work is because of the yeast, the hot water, and the milk. All of these are going to create bubbles, but to do that, we need this to rest for a while. And to do that, we need it to be warm, not hot. Once again, you don't want to get your milk or your water over about 170. A rolling, soft boil and then sitting out for a minute while you prep everything. Okay, a little bit more water. This is close. Just a little bit. Okay, try that. I love that we are destroying the spatula, or the whisk.
Yeah, we are destroying this whisk is just falling apart as I'm using it. I'm like trying to reposition it. It's like,
you
it's
are
dying.
all good. You are all
Fun
good.
fact: Cooking with Alkali airs a new episode every single Saturday.
Fun fact, you're a liar.
God.
You are a liar.
Oh wait, I'm just looking at our schedule now.
And this next one should do it.
Apparently, we only make an episode every 12 years.
That's closer. Okay, that should do it. This is going to be.
Fun fact, when it's fun, it's no longer a fact.
That's funny.
When it's a fact, it's no longer fun.
Oh, it's true.
Okay, and switch for just a second. Now, the last thing you want to do, because this is. So, if you're used to making pancakes, you always hear about the over-mixing thing. It's one of the reasons I really like crumpets. Crumpets are kind of idiot-proof as long as you get the consistency right. So, there's no such thing as over-mixing. You want to try to get as many of
I think I
these
hear the meat
lumps.
tenderizing.
You want to try to get as many of these lumps out of here as you can.
Not ready yet.
All right, and I think a splash more of water is going to do this. One splash more.
All right.
Sue, QM, that's it. That I can already feel it stirring the way it should.
Yeah, look at that.
And if you guys are wondering, no, I'm not putting my thumb in it. It's just this thing is not a good.
Oh, yeah, it's falling apart.
Nope, this is a bad whisk. I chose a bad.
It looks
whisk.
like a carb hurricane.
Okay.
Carb hurricane.
All right, and just getting the sides. Now we have a soupy consistency. Come here. With the camera.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm looking for?
Yep.
See how it flows back in when I do that? There.
Seed, blood, drill.
That is the consistency we're looking for. Now, we're done here. Before I finished, I prepped this. It's not going to go in yet, but I highly recommend you have this ready to go. It's gone. Here it is.
It was
Off to the side, I just have in here is it 1 or 2? 1 teaspoon salt. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is for after it rests, so have that ready to go. Now this is going to sit for 2 hours to bring up that airy quality to it. We're going to burst most of those air bubbles to try to get in the last ingredient, but that's going to give it that light, fluffy texture that you're looking for at the end, and the middle is just going to be so porous that all the butter you put on just goes right through it. This is going to rest for 1 to 2 hours or until it kind of doubles in size. Put it in a steady temperature, no draft place. You want it to be as still as you can in the room and cover it with saran wrap. We will see you in 2 hours unless we attach a camera to this and make you watch it for the next 2 hours.
Fun fact, please.
One more time, we'll see you guys again. And a huge thank you to our friends who've been cooking us for us all weekend, Sue Deer and QM. Guys, thank you for inviting me to Basement Con. Give me a
Thanks
hug.
for coming.
Hey.
All right, welcome back. Right now we're going to make the lemon curd for the crumpets. And I'll tell you this right now, a true lemon curd on top of crumpets is just to die for. However, we're going to do a quick and easy lemon curd. I wanted to show you guys how to do this really easy one. So the first thing I have here is a 1.5 cups of sugar, and to that I'm adding about a tablespoon of lemon zest. Now, if I had the time or the equipment, what I would do is I would take this mixture and I would run it through a food processor to get that lemon zest nice and fine. But instead, we're going to use it as just flavoring, and then we're going to filter it out towards the end of the process. So I'm just giving this a little bit of a mix because it's all going to be added in to the butter in a second. Now next to me we have, and I can't, the cord isn't long enough, so you're going to have to come closer. I do apologize.
Okay.
We have half a stick of unsalted butter. Now all we're going to do is start to give this a little bit of a cream, and as we're creaming, we're gonna add our sugar. Just a little bit at a time, trying to combine it as much as we can while we go.
It's hard to concentrate when you're creaming, though.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember the story of Creamin' Joe. Do you remember Creamin' Joe?
No.
He had a song.
Oh, Jesus.
Creamin' Joe, do you know about Creamin' Joe? And if you know about Creamin' Joe, you're pregnant. Bum bum, yeah, it's a good guy, Creamin' Joe.
You're pregnant.
You're pregnant. All right, so now.
I see why they had to make that song now.
Oh yeah, no, because if you don't know about Creamin' Joe, oh fuck.
You gotta need a warning when he comes to town.
One of the things I recommend, and you do not need to do this, I like to add a lot of ingredients a little bit at a time so they can be incorporated a little bit more fully. I'm going to turn up this blender in a little bit, but first, I just kind of wanted everything to the point where it's not going to fly all over the goddamn counter. I really think it helps to not have it flying all over the goddamn counter. There it goes, flying all over the goddamn counter.
And into your eggs.
And into all the eggs. Okay, that is, I do apologize. I'm not using any equipment that I know.
Yes.
So
This is mystery equipment.
all right, so that's combined, and that's all we really wanted there. Now, to that, we're going to start adding the lemon juice. Now, this is, I don't know. I forgot how much lemon juice I need. I have too much lemon juice.
Oh, shit.
To that, we're going to add half a cup of
Okay.
fresh squeezed lemon juice. Now, all I did was zested the lemon. You can see on this lemon, this right here is almost too deep. But you want to zest it and not get to the white part. Like, that's a decent zest. You can kind of see how it's scraped. That's a lot of the flavor. So I basically just took some lemons, zested them beforehand, cut them in half, and then juiced them. And out of that, I'm going to take, and I actually need some lemon juice for the next step, but I'm going to take half a cup.
And zesting is just scraping it off with
Oh, I did have almost the exact right amount of lemon
with
juice.
a scraper, basically?
Oh, actually, I'm slightly short, so I'll show you. So,
Okay.
zesting. Okay, this is a fresh lemon. Now see, some of it is dirty. Stay away from that part. But this entire surface right here, that's all clean.
Okay.
A zester.
There you go. Any suggestions if you don't have a zester? Or
If you don't have a zester, you could technically use a
grater, maybe?
a grater works with this, but something I've done before, I've used a potato peeler.
Ah,
All
okay.
you need, like, you can do a big piece of zest, especially if you have a food processor, because then you can just throw the sugar and the zest into one thing. And by the way, if you've never done it before, juicing a lemon is really easy, and there's a lot of tools out there that can help you. There's professional juicers. Screw all that. We're all alcoholics here. This is a bar tool. You can buy these at any bar shop. All I'm going to do is take this, juice the lemon. I'll tell you this right now. I have an old school glass juicer at home. I had an electric juicer for a while. There is no better way to juice than with this little bar instrument. You're going to get all the seeds, you're going to get all the pulp. We know that, but that doesn't matter because with a simple, with a wave of the hand and a flick of my wrist, strain it. Do not put seeds into your lemon curd. And with the same thing, because once again there's pulp in there, just use that. Get the pulp out of the way. Get the juice through. This is extra. And there we go. Right there, about a tablespoon of lemon juice from one lemon.
Gotcha.
And kind of nice in there. All right, so half a cup of lemon juice. Dump it in there. Make this creamy. Okay, you're going to get a little bit of what's happening to me here. There we go. There it goes. Hey, this is your base. This is your base right here. Now, to that, one at a time. Very important. So bear in mind, right now in here is a half a stick of butter, 1.5 cups of flour, half a cup of lemon juice, and the lemon zest, about a tablespoon of lemon zest. Now, to this, we're going to turn this up a little bit. When you add eggs, add them. Oh, I fucked that up one at a time. Fuck that up. Nice.
They're brothers. It's okay.
Okay, you want this thoroughly mixed. Do not undermix this. You want everything incorporated. You will find find lemon curd recipes that tell you to only use the yolk. Now, I do those recipes as well. They're very good. This is the quick and dirty lemon curd recipe. This is the fastest and easiest way to make lemon curd. You are exchanging complexity for time. Because when I cook this, I'm going to need to stare at it the entire time it is cooking. You cannot leave this alone for a second once it is on the burner, because you need to take it off when the first bubbles begin to form. So this is mixed. Come on in. Let's mix. And that is a base for lemon. Oh, I did forget one ingredient, and I think I added it out of order, which is probably not a good thing. Could you hand me that salt shaker?
Sure. This one?
Yep.
Got it.
Last thing is, I would love to use kosher salt. We don't have any kosher salt. An eighth of a teaspoon. That's enough.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shakes.
Don't forget, salt added to something sweet brings out the sweet. The salt activates some of the taste buds in the back of your mouth. I might be making this up, or it might be real. I don't know. We've been drinking. We're a basement guy. We've been drinking for like 2 days now. I don't actually know what I'm doing. This could be totally wrong. But then we'll just scrap the project. Have fun. Lemon curd coming up next. We'll show you how to cook this stuff. See you soon. Welcome back. Before we show you exactly how to cook these things, we're going to make the last topping for that, and that is the sweet ricotta. I found this ingredient while I was in Seattle. I fell in love with it. I had never had sweet ricotta before. Let me show you how to make it really fast. So first off, we have a small but deep bowl of ricotta cheese. Now this is whole milk ricotta, 1 cup. I really recommend the whole milk ricotta. I've done it with the other ones before. It doesn't work as well. You want the whole milk ricotta. Now once again, if you have a food processor, use the food processor. We're not. Okay, if you don't have one, you can still do it like this, but I do recommend the food processor. To the ricotta, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and that's going to give us this nice creaminess that we're looking for. So 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of fresh squeezed lemon with a single lemon zested into it. So this is a lemon plus lemon zest, 1 teaspoon, and because I took up some of the room with the lemon zest, I'm going to just put in a slight bit more. You don't have to do that. I like the lemon flavor, so I'm doing that. The next ingredient that I forgot, I'm right. All right, where's my smaller one? A 1/4 of a teaspoon. Now I have a half teaspoon here, but we're going to do just a 1/4 of it, so I just need to fill the bottom. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I'm noticing that this salt has gotten moist, so I'm going to use my strainer. There we go. By the way, if you ever have that happens to us constantly. If you don't know the, what's it called? What do they call it?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
Consistency?
Advertising campaign. The ad campaign for Morton salt. When
Okay.
it rains, it pours.
Okay.
What they're talking about is that Morton salt doesn't react with the moisture in the air and clump up. Some salt does. If you ever see that, salt, sugar, flour, put it through a strainer. Just sift it. It helps everything. You never want to put a clump in here, or else you're going to get a clump in there. It doesn't work too well. And,
I literally never knew why they had the umbrella girl.
yeah, when it rains, it pours.
Never
That's
knew.
The advertisement campaign. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
okay.
a classic. It's one of the more successful ad campaigns.
Oh, sure.
And finally, because we're making a sweet ricotta, you can actually do this as is, but we're going to make it sweet. So we're going to take that same teaspoon again, and we're just going to do a heaping half teaspoon. Now, once again, I see a little bit of clumpage in there, so I'm going to go right through a strainer. That's what I saw, by the way.
Oh.
So I saw that in there. We got rid of it. That's all you're really looking to do. And now, in a food processor, this would take 2 minutes, but since we're not going to do the food processor, it's not going to be as smooth. This will not be as creamy as I want it to be, but it will be well blended. So we're just going to sit here for about 2 minutes, blending this all together and scraping down the sides. And all we're doing here is making a sweet ricotta. This sweet ricotta is going to go with our lemon curd. It's going to go with our crumpets. It's going to add a little bit of creaminess to them. And honestly, I mean, you put cream cheese on a bagel, we're putting lemon curd and sweet ricotta onto a crumpet. So we'll be back in a little bit. We're going to make these crumpets, and then we're going to combine the entire thing, and we'll join you here at Basement Con for dessert. Thanks for joining us again. See you at Basement Con. All right, everyone, it's now been about an hour and a half since we left it, and if you want to come in, you're going to see how porous this thing looks. You can see the air bubbles coming through. So we're going to take our salt and baking powder, just throw that over the top, and give it a quick stir. Now, I know some of you are obviously realizing I'm popping all of these bubbles that we went and formed. However, we're not going to overmix. That's it. And that bicarbonate we just put in there is going to give us those bubbles back as we cook. So I'm going to get the griddle going, and we're going to throw a few of these on so you guys can see how to cook them.
Should I keep going or not?
Nope. 3, 2. All right, guys, the final step, we're actually going to assemble our crumpets now. These are crumpet rings. Now, I bought these because I make the equivalency of Egg McMuffins and other fat-related food that I eat far too regularly. But you could take a tuna can, cut off the top and the bottom, wash it out really well, because that's not a flavor you want in crumpets, and they will accomplish the same thing. I do about 4 at a time. Put them down. Now, I'm using, obviously, a griddle here. You can use whatever the hell you have around. Usually 4-foot in a pan. Make sure you grease liberally, because if you do this right, you can pull the crumpets out and the ring will stay clean. Now, using your favorite ladle, spoon, or cavernous mate, start filling these just so the bottom is filled. Because once again, don't forget, these, they're not going to so much expand, but they're going to puff up. So we're going to fill.
Was that a swipe at me?
What? No.
Is that
What? How could that possibly be a swipe at you? You don't know how to cook.
Oh, sure.
Okay, now I have overfilled almost every one of these, so that's good. That's good, at least I'm consistent. All right, let them spread out on their own. We're gonna put these on here for 4 minutes, and then we're gonna start checking them. However, crumpets, once again, I told you, these are idiot-proof. They have a telltale way that you will know that they are done on one side, and that is the top. When bubbles start to form and pop on the top of these, you'll know that they're done on the other side. They're gonna pop and they're gonna leave a hole. So once these are going, you'll notice that the bubble starts to form, it pops, and it leaves a crevice. So right now, they're cooking. We're gonna come back in about 2 minutes.
All right.
Go. All right, now you can see right here, we're starting to get a few bubbles on top, and notice when I pop this one, no, it's not a bubble, it's just nothing. So you're starting to see bubbles form and kind of keep their shape, but not quite yet. So these are very close. All right, which means as we get close, there are 2 ways to deal with flipping a crumpet. Now, I over-oiled these on purpose. We're Americans, so we fry our crumpets a little bit more. Also, British wouldn't necessarily flip these at all. They would leave the top white. It's fantastic that way. I like the burn on both sides. If you do it the traditional way, though, the butter gets deeper, so can't really blame that. I'm going to show you on this one over here and this one here, one way to do it, and these 2 the other way. So, since I over-oiled these things, here's what we're going to try to do. We're going to actually try to lift the mold and leave the crumpet. So if we can... Nope. All right, I overfilled them. That's what we were talking about before, so all of them are getting the American treatment.
Oh, no.
It ran away. All right.
All right.
Now this side.
Hold on, I think my phone stopped talking for some reason. What the fuck was that? Technology's terrible. Let's go.
So now that you have them flipped, you're not going to need as long on the other side. Because once again, you're not looking for that side to get ultra brown. Oh, that one worked nice.
Nice.
You're not looking for that side to get ultra brown. You just want to heat it up the rest of the way. Yeah, I overfilled them so they're not coming out nice. But they will. We're going to put the side on for about 2 minutes just to give it that little bit of brown. And then once that's done, you could use a toothpick or a knife to scrape along the sides to get it out of the molds. We're going to come back to you as we plate these. we have our first 4 off the griddle. Now, they don't take that long to make. Usually just want to make them in a batch. And the beauty of these things, you can make them one day, do not put them in the fridge, just seal them in a container. You can toast them for another day, maybe 2. But in a toaster, they are legitimately just as good. So I have my 2 friends here. Sue, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to introduce yourself, my dear? This is Dorsai. I'm so scared.
I'm also quack quack hog.
Yes.
But
So I didn't. All right, so here we go. The first crumpet. This is how to properly prepare a crumpet. First, crumpet. Second, butter. Third,
Wow.
there's just a little bit of butter. Just a little bit of butter. I was going to say something horrible.
Okay,
All right,
you
now,
started it
thank you.
without me. I'm
So-
angry at you now.
Butter frozen works totally okay with this because watch how this just soaks in that butter.
That's the sound of my arteries going.
This is not a healthy snack. Now, I have eaten it like this multiple times with some nice oil. However, if you can, I highly recommend it. Here is our homemade lemon curd.
Oh God, baby.
A nice dollop in the middle. No, more than that. You don't want just a little lemon curd. All right, lemon curd on the top. And to finish it off, now be careful with this one, especially because I did not do it in a food processor. It's not that it's chunky, but ricotta has little pieces in it. So this is not as smooth as I wanted, so I'm going to go a little bit lighter on this, but the taste that a sweet ricotta can bring to this, it's that cool, I'll tell you this, it's better than whipped cream. Finally, I need another plate.
Okay.
Now, these you can pick right up and eat. They are, thank you. They are nice and fluffy and dense and deep. Yeah, that's where that goes.
Think
now.
about what you've done.
All right. These are nice and dense and deep. You can just use your fingers to eat them, but fork and knife sometimes. Hold on, you didn't get any cream.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
over to the taste. Here we go.
Time to eat.
Laura, my dear, that one's yours. And Sue, my dear, this one is yours. And as you guys try, ladies and gentlemen, we truly hope that you've been enjoying these videos. I never intended to do another one of these, but you guys have asked for them. So we're coming back. We're going to do more cooking with Alkalis. We hope we can give you fun recipes.
Simultaneous
like
taste.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Permission to dry hump your life.
Oh, so granted.
Oh.
You all. Try new things, everyone. We tried Crumpets because we were in Seattle. We saw a place called Just Crumpets. We gave it a shot. We are a Crumpet family now. We're so glad you joined us. We hope to see you at Basement Con. We hope to see you at other conventions. And signing out, I'm Alkali. This is Sue. This is Quack Quack Hog. Their mouths are full. Behind the camera is Xander. And down in front, say goodbye, Find. Say goodbye.
Bye.
And
Say
then,
goodbye.
let's go.